Okay, good morning. This lesson we will be talking about factoring polynomials. So when you were grade 7, since this is a first lesson when you were grade 8, when you were grade 7, you were taught how to identify what are the kinds of polynomials. So let us try to recall first what are the kinds of polynomials we discussed when you were grade 7. So first we have a monomial, in which a monomial is a polynomial having one term only. And next is we have a binomial, in which a binomial is a polynomial having two terms. And a trinomial, we have a polynomial that has three terms. And we have a polynomial or a multinomial in which it composed of more than three terms. It can be 4 terms, 5 terms, and others. So those are the kinds of polynomials that was discussed when you were grade 7. Again, we have the monomial, binomial, trinomial, and the multinomial. So let us try to recall first, how are you going to solve or factor a polynomial? So there are certain things that we're going to consider in factoring polynomials. So for example, how can you solve, if you are asked to solve for what is the product of you have to multiply 2 and 3. So what is 2 times 3? So therefore, the product of multiplying 2, 3 is 6. So if you are asked to factor number 6, what are the factors of 6? So we have the factors we have are 2 and 3. So therefore, we will talk about factoring. It is just the reverse operation or the reverse method of finding the product of numbers. So again, the factor of 6 are 2 and 3. When you are at grade school, you are asked to multiply what is the product of 2 and 3, and that is 6. Then again, when you were elementary, what are the factors of 6, and that is 2 times 3. Since you are now on grade 8, we will be dealing with algebra, and that is factoring polynomials. Okay? So let us try to recall first in multiplying polynomials, and that was discussed when you were grade 7. So say for example, if we have this polynomial here, or this expression, how are we going to simplify or find the product of 4x multiplied to this binomial 3x minus 5? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to identify first what are the things that we're going to multiply. So we have 4x that will be multiplied to our 3x minus 5. So therefore, we're going to use the distributive property. We're going to distribute our 4x to our binomial 3x and negative 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply 4x to our 3x, then we multiply 4x to our negative 5. So in doing so, that becomes 4x times our 3x. Then we have our operation minus 4x times our 5. Okay? Then we simplify. 4 times 3 is 12. And what we're going to do when we're going to multiply variables, did you remember? When we multiply variables, what is that thing that we're going to remember? We are going to add the exponents. Very good. So therefore, our x here has an exponent of 1, and our x here has an exponent of 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the exponent of both x's. So therefore, that becomes x, just copy the x, and add what is 1 plus 1 and that now becomes 2. Okay? Then we copy our subtraction. Then we multiply 4 times 5 is 20. Okay? 4 times 5 is 20. So since we don't have a variable here, so what we're going to do is we're going to copy first, or just copy our variable x. So thus, our answer is 12x squared minus 20x. Okay? Follow? Okay, another example. So what if we have this one? 5x squared y multiplied to 3x minus 1. So same on the first example that we had is we're going to identify what are the things that we're going to multiply. So we have here 5x squared y multiplied to our binomial 3x minus 1. So again, we're going to apply distribution. So we're going to multiply our 5x squared y to our 3x minus 1. So same what we did before, we're going to copy our 5x squared y, multiply that to our 3x. Then again, we have our subtraction sign or negative sign. Just copy the negative sign. Then again, multiply our 5x squared y to our negative 1. And just copy 1. And then we multiply numbers. And again, what we're going to do with the exponent of the variables that are similar. Okay, very good. We're going to add the exponents. So therefore, let us multiply first the numbers. We have 5 times 3. What is 5 times 3? 15. Very good. And we're going to multiply our x with our x. Again, yes, we're going to add the exponent. So therefore, that becomes 15x. What is 2? And again, remember, if you have a variable that is not bearing an exponent or a number, so that means that the exponent of that variable is 1. So therefore, we're going to add our x with our x, and that is 2 plus 1 is, yes, and that becomes x cubed. Okay? And what if we have another variable bearing another variable that has on the number that on the other factor is we don't have a variable. So if that's the case, if that happens, if we're going to multiply variables, what we're going to do is just copy that variable, and that is 1. Okay? So when we multiply 5x squared y times 3x, so we multiply 5 times 3 is 15. X times x, we're going to add 2 plus 1 is 3. Then, since we are not going to multiply another variable y, on this factor here, what we're going to do is just copy our y. Okay? Then, write our subtraction sign. So, the identity rule of multiplication of 1 in your elementary. What was the identity rule of multiplication of 1? What was the rule says? Any number, any entity multiplied to 1, the answer is that entity. So therefore, since we multiply negative 5x squared y to 1, just copy that 1, negative 5x squared y. Okay? So last example. What if we have this one? We are going to multiply binomials. X plus y times x minus y. So our first two examples was the multiplication there is a multiplication in between a monomial and a binomial. Okay? Here, if we're going to observe, if we're going to evaluate our given, is we're going to multiply binomials. X plus y times x minus y. We have three methods that was discussed when you were grade 7. The first method, I think, was discussed about grouping, and the second one is FOIL method, and another one is the shortcut method. Okay? So, let us use the FOIL method. If you recall, what FOIL stands for? So, itong FOIL, this represents for the first, outer, inner, and the last. Okay? Again, what F stands for? First, outer, inner, and the last. That is what FOIL stands for. So therefore, we're going to identify which of the two terms that is considered as the first term of our two binomials. So F, first, so that means that is the first term of the two binomials. So that is x and x. So this is our F. Outer, so the outer part of our expression. So that is x and our negative y. The inner, so what is inside, so that is y and x. And the last terms of our two binomials is y and negative y. So again, we have F, and this is our O, and this is our I, and this is our L. So are you seeing what I am saying? This is you, like a monkey. Okay? So that is F, O, I, and L. So let us try to find the product using our FOIL method. Okay, so let us multiply x times x. Again, if we multiply variables that are similar, directly add the exponents. So we have here, our x says exponent is 1. Also here is 1. The same also with our y. 1. So let us try to multiply by adding the exponents. So we have here f. Let's try to write first our FOIL. So our f, x times x is x squared. Okay? Our outer terms is x times negative y. Again, they are unlike variables. So just copy, but take note and remember always the rule of signs. Okay, so when we multiply positive and negative, that is negative. So therefore, just copy our x and y. So therefore, the product is negative xy. Okay? Our inner terms. So we have y and x. That is y times x. So take note also, the sign of our y is positive. And also, if numbers and variables does not bear any sign, that means that is understood to be positive. So therefore, x that does not have a sign is positive. So we multiply positive times positive is also positive. And y times x, just copy, and that is xy. And lastly, we multiply our last terms. We have the last terms, yes, we have y and y, but remember that it is positive times negative. So therefore, that becomes negative. Very good. Negative y squared. Why? Why y squared? Because our y is 1 and our y is 1. Add them up, that totals to, adds up to 2. Okay? Then lastly is we're going to, the last method or the last process that we're going to consider or apply is, yes, simplification. We're going to simplify. And when we say simplify, we're going to combine like terms. Okay? We're going to combine like terms. So in here, our x squared and our y squared, that is negative, those are unlike terms. So therefore, we just copy x squared and y squared. But our y squared again is negative. And if we can see here, our outer and our inner terms, yes, the terms are similar. So if that's the case, that the terms are similar, we're going to simplify, combine, add, or subtract. So if that's the case, our xy here, our first xy is negative, and our second xy is positive. So therefore, the rule of addition is, yes, we're going to subtract terms that are unlike. So since we have 1xy, we have 1xy, 1 minus 1 is, yes, so this does not have a value anymore. So what we're going to do is just copy our x squared and our negative y squared as our final product. So therefore, if you multiply x plus y times x minus y, the product is x squared minus y squared. So for our next example is, I'm not going to solve, and I will leave this to you. On activity number 1, matchy-matchy, and that is column A, column B, you're going to answer 4 and 5 to yourself and find out the answer of our 3x minus 4 times 2x minus 1. So this is our number 3. And our number 4 is x minus 5y times x plus 5y. And I'm going to give you 5 minutes to solve for that.